When my sister, Lena, drop-kicked an elderly woman into a stack of heirloom tomatoes at the Maplewood Farmers Market, I wasn't shocked. Worried? Sure. Slightly odd? Absolutely. But surprised? Not at all. While everyone else saw Lena as my meditation-obsessed, muffin-baking, sweater-lovewying sister with a passion for plants and public radio, I knew the truth they didn't. She once took out a Ukrainian operative with a butter knife. The real kicker? The old lady she just flattened was Margaret Hensley, head of our neighborhood HOA, a walking disaster with a grudge bigger than her solar-powered garden gnome army. And right then, as Margaret thrashed around in the tomato wreckage, yelling about rules and lawsuits, two things hit me. One, this was definitely going viral by sundown, and two, Lena had just shattered the golden rule of undercover work and dragged the HOA into it. It had started like any typical Saturday in Maplewood, almost oppressively quaint. The sky was a ridiculous shade of blue. Some guy strummed acoustic pop tunes near the carrot stall, and a golden retriever in a tie-dye scarf was sniffing handmade soaps like it had a PhD in aromatherapy. Lena and I had just grabbed some overpriced cold-pressed juice when I caught its subtle shift. Nothing obvious, but I'd known her long enough to spot when her inner operative kicked in. Her eyes darted, her stance tightened, and she started giving one-word replies like small talk was suddenly a health hazard. Fine, except we were steps from the spinach samples and practically in the crosshairs of Margaret. Margaret Hensley rocked her signature look, a peach polo shirt starched to perfection, beige slacks, and that smug grin of someone who thinks the Bill of Rights starts with, "Thou shalt not plant unapproved shrubs." Clipboard in hand, mouth already rev-vying up like a levying complaint forum, she zeroed in on Lena. Usually, Lena nailed the suburban sister act, but today she handed something to the carrot vendor. Tiny, fast, unnoticed by most. Not by Margaret, though. Her HOA radar pinged hard. "Excuse me," Margaret snapped, jabbing a bony finger at Lena's hand. "Did you just give that man something? Because it looks suspiciously like an unauthorized transaction, and I don't see a vendor permit on you, miss." Lena flashed a tight smile, the kind that said, "Shut up, and I could end you in one breath." "Just a thank you note," she said smoothly, nudging us away. But Margaret wasn't letting it go. "Is that spinach organic? Are you zoned to distribute within HOA market boundaries?" she barked. "Because I'll have you fined." That's when Lena pivoted, ice cold, and said, "Margaret, back off." Naturally, Margaret didn't. She lunged, grabbing Lena's arm like she was cuffing a spinach smuggler. What happened next was a blur of absurdity and precision. Lena twisted, sidestepped, and in one seamless move, flipped Margaret over her shoulder into the tomato display. The splat was deafening. Tomatoes burst, people gasped. A kid dropped his pretzel and muttered, "Cool." Margaret hit the ground with a thud, bones or fruit, I couldn't tell, and unleashed a shriek like a kettle mid-meltdown. A stunned, tomato-soaked silence followed. Then Margaret popped up, pulp dripping, screeching about assault and cameras, pointing at Lena like she'd unmasked a serial jaywalker. Lena didn't bolt or flinch. She just sighed. "Great," she muttered. "I just blew my cover over an HOA spat." What?" I stammered, because that's not a line you expect from your sister unless she's kidding. She wasn't. "Later," she said, yanking me behind the lavender booth. "We need to vanish. Now." Then the suits appear, three of them, gliding through the crowd like sharks in sunglasses. Not market guards, something else. They locked onto Margaret, still flopping like a furious crab in the tomatoes, and one pulled out a phone. "Not to record to call." Lena cursed under her breath, which she never does. "Go," she hissed, dead serious. "This is about to get messy." And then she was gone, melting into a pack of seniors haggling over turnips. I stood there, brain-stalled, clutching a soggy bag of lettuce. Margaret had been judo-tossed, suits were circling. My sister had gone full spammy, and I was just there. 3 hours later, Lena hadn't come home. Her phone was dead, no texts, no signal. I was spiraling. And not just because Margaret had posted on the Maplewood forum about pressing charges for aggravated vegetable assault. Deep down, I knew something was seriously off. Then, refreshing the local sheriff's site for the umpteenth time, I got a ping from the Maplewood HOA newsletter. It was a piece about lawn ornaments, but one line jumped out. "Keep an eye on your gnomes, folks. They might look harmless, but even the quiet ones can stir trouble." That wasn't standard HOA fluff. That was Lena, signaling me to stay sharp. Next morning, a knock rattled the door, four slow, deliberate thuds that screamed, "We're not here for tea." Through the peephole, I saw two men in dark suits, frowns locked in place, clutching clipboards like bureaucratic hitmen. Instinct 1, play dead? Instinct 2, call Lena. Neither worked, so I opened the door, grinning like I wasn't sweating bullets. They claimed to be from the Maplewood HOA Special Review board, which sounded fake but came with legit-looking IDs. The shorter one, with slick-back hair and a voice like a GPS on the fritz, asked if I had time to chat about the spinach incident. The taller one, silent and unblinking as a lizard, just stared like I was a puzzle he couldn't solve. I played dumb, offering them pumpkin bread they didn't take. Said Lena was at a wellness retreat. They scribbled. Said she didn't mean to flip Margaret, it was a reflex. More scribbling. Then Slick asked if Lena had ties to outside entities. I blinked. Like the PTA? I dodged. He didn't crack a smile, just gave me a nice try, glare. They left after 15 tense minutes, handing me a flyer, spotting subversive activity in your community. It had cartoons of shady figures lurking near mailboxes and a detailed sketch of a rogue carrot peddler. Charming. The second they were gone, I dialed every number Lena ever gave Meher main line. Her backup, even the only if someone says the squirrels are listening. 1. Nothing. By noon I hit the Maplewood Clubhouse bingo day, where HOA secrets always leaked over cookies and grudges. Sipping tepid coffee near the snack table, I overheard Margaret, now in a wheelchair with a dramatic neck brace she didn't need, holding court. "I know what I saw," she crowed to a gaggle of gaping neighbors. She handed that carrot guy something. I checked the footage, it wasn't a note. It glowed. A gasp. A dropped brownie. Now I'm getting calls asking if I've been to Kiev lately. She leaned in smug. That girl's in deep. I always said her mulch was off. That sealed it. I had to break into Margaret's place. It wasn't hard, her garage code was 1234 because of course it was. I waited till her yappy terrier, Sir Posington, was out terrorizing the mail carrier, then slipped in with a hoodie, gloves, and the shaky bravado of too many crime shows. The house reeked of potpourri and superiority. I dodged her creepy porcelain owl collection and found the basement door. Downstairs was a fever dream, part command center, part craft fair. Wall-to-wall screens, blinking lights, neighborhood maps with pushpins, and enough spy gear to spook a conspiracy nut. Folders labeled lawn trimmings violations 2023, unauthorized porch decor, and, ominously, suspicious residents. Inside that last one, photos of Lena gardening, jogging, chatting by the creek, holding a totally normal bag of pears. But one shot stopped me cold, Lena passing the carrot vendor, a tiny, glowing thing. Blurry zoomed in, but that light? Unmistakable. Like a sci-fi USB stick. My gut sank. Whatever Lena was into, it wasn't just odd, it was dangerous. I was so lost in the pics I didn't hear the stairs creak. "What are you doing down here?" Margaret's voice boomed way too close. I whirled, flailing. "A squirrel spotting?" She squinted. "In a basement? Urban squirrel spotting." I doubled down. She raised a walkie-talkie. "I'm calling the cops, wait." I blurted. "I think someone's after you." That froze her. She lowered the walkie. "What?" I took a breath and spilled. Whatever Lena handed off, it wasn't a note. I don't know what it was, but those suits? They hit my place too. They're not HOA. Margaret stared, lips tight, curiosity wrestling with doubt. "You think this is bigger than spinach?" "Way bigger." After a beat, she muttered, "I knew it. I've been saying this neighborhood's a powder keg of non-compliance." I nodded like that wasn't insane. She hesitated, then waved me to a monitor. "Look at this." It was a still from the market chaos. Behind Lena, reflected in a car window, stood a tall, thin guy in a cap, same one from the market, not a local, watching her. Margaret zoomed in like a TV cop. His eyes were sharp, familiar. Then it clicked. The silent suit from my porch. "We're being watched, Ellie," Margaret said low. "All of us." "And your sister?" "She's not who she pretends to be." I couldn't speak, too busy clocking the blinking red light on another screen, labeled Live Network Feed. Someone was hacking in. And they were already through.